right? So this looks familiar to some of you. You know that the verb is going to be said and that it means to be. So hopefully it looks familiar, right? So we want to tell ourselves this verb said means to be. So think of it in English. I can't say I to be, you to be. What do we say? I am, you, he, we, they. Right, so that's what we're doing in Spanish, but your brain is already going ahead, right? You're already going, oh no, said versus estar. Don't worry about it. We're not going to get there just yet. What is the form of ser for yo, to say I am? We say yo soy. When we say you are, in the tú form, we're going to say tú eres, you are. All three of these share, including what understood subject that we never say in Spanish. Right. If you're thinking about it, it's going to be this verb right here. How are we going to say it is, she is, he is? Es. Very good. So now the plurals. We are, nosotros. Good. I'm not going to do this. If you want to fill it in because you want to use it, that's awesome. I believe it's sois. Yeah. Okay. Ellos, ellas, ustedes all share. How do we say they are? Y'all are. Good. Muy bien. So pretty easy, right? Remember, first step is find your subject. So number one, who are we talking about? Jorge. Jorge is the same as what subject pronoun? I, you, he, she, we, they. He, which is él. What is the form we use? Tell me in English. Jorge es un chico de Kansas. George is boy from Kansas. Tú eres. Tell me in English. You intelligent young lady, girl. Good. Laura y Maria are friends. Now, we can't just do it in English because you're like, this was R, this was R, this was R. Nope. Laura and Maria is like saying they, which is ellas. Now, which R are we talking about? Great. In English? And Maria are friends. Okay, so now let's look at the meaning here. So, Jorge is a boy. This is identification. We're talking about who it is. We're identifying him. Tú eres una señorita inteligente. What is this? We're not identifying her. Well, kind of, sort of, but we're also describing her. So this is a description, right? Ellas son amigas. What would we say this is? A relationship? Yeah, a relationship or even an identification, right? And this should all bring back what? Doctor and place, right? So we're already starting to see that said is used in particular situations, which we will come back to, but I'm going to go ahead and write this right here. Okay. So let's talk about those situations. Uses of said. When are we going to use said? Said is used to identify. And we did it up top, right? But with this, we're going to throw in a couple of new interrogative question words. We're going to throw in quién and quiénes. So do you remember what they are? They're on our vocab list if you don't, so you'll be able to study them. ¿Quién es who? Question mark, right? Notice the accented E. All question words have an accent. ¿Quiénes? Who all. So this is plural, right? So if you're asking about more than one person, we got to make the word who plural. So why would we need these? Well, because it's used for identification. If I want you to tell me who someone is, I'm going to ask you who or who. Plural, right? So let's look at our question. Who blank he. We're asking who is he. So here's our subject. So our verb would be what? Es. ¿Quién es él? Who is he? Now we're going to say, understood he is Philip. So we have understood he out here. We're not going to say him. We can say él. But we're also going to skip it. What verb is it? Es. Okay. We have established who our subject is. Who is he? So now in Spanish, we can throw he out of the conversation if we choose to. Now, we know we're talking about he. We don't even need to say it. We just say, is Felipe. Oh, yeah. We're talking about he. I know she's meaning he is Felipe. But what about a plural one? Look now. In English, we wouldn't change a question word. We still say who, but then we change our verb, right? Are they? But in Spanish, because it's they and this is plural, this becomes plural, which is why we have the quienes. What's our verb going to be here? Quienes son. Who are they? Understood they. You can say it, but the book likes to skip it, so I'm going to skip it in our notes. They are Juana and Mateo. Son. Good. Now, ¿quién? Questions are always the él, ella, usted form. So if I change the verb, and I'm not going to ask you, who is that, but I ask you, who runs the race? You're going to say that he or she form runs the race. So whenever you get asked a quiénes question, you're going to use what form? Ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So that way, in the future, I can ask you, who studies Spanish? I know it's going to be more than one person. Look at all of us in here. So I would ask, ¿quiénes estudian español? And you would answer with the ellos form, right? Ellos estudian, or even we. Nosotros estudiamos. Okay, so now what about this one? What is it? We need the word what, don't we? Because we're not always going to ask for a person. Who is he? Who are they? We might want to know what an object is. What is that? We're still going to ID it. We're still going to tell what it is. So what is this going to be? What is it? Es, because there is our understood it. And remember, it is always the él, ella, usted form. So we'll answer with understood it out here, right? We're going to skip it because there's no word for it. And we're going to say it is a map of Spain. What's our verb? Es. Awesome. Okay, so 3 new question words. ¿Quién, who, singular. ¿Quiénes, who, plural. ¿Qué is what, and we already knew qué. But they all have what in them. All interrogative question words have a accent. Did you notice that? If you didn't hear me say it the first time, look at that. Every time you ask a question with a who, what, when, where, why, you're going to have an accent. It's over the E in those words. But like como has an O, right? ¿Por qué? It's the E. Let's glance up there. ¿Dónde? Where? It's on the O. ¿Cómo on the O? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánta? It was on the A. So it depends on the word. Yeah. But the ones with the E tend to be an E, don't they? Okay. We also use the verb ser to indicate origin. What is origin? Where someone is from. And I use that phrase a lot. So if you weren't sure what origin meant, you might want to write that down. Right? Okay, so, but what preposition do we have to use? When you say, I am from Wichita, you don't say, yo soy Wichita. That would be, I am Wichita. Deacon, get your head up, please. What do we say? Yo soy de. The preposition de. What does de mean? It's got 2 meanings. When I say yo soy de Wichita, I'm saying I am from, but it also has another meaning, right? Do you remember the other meaning? No? Of. Okay. Which in English sounds a little weird to us. I am of Wichita, but they kind of mean the same thing, right? So let's look at that. Okay, where? We need the question word where. Do you remember the question word where? It's right here, Mrs. Henke. I already have it. It's donde. So I've got the where. I need the are in the tu form. What's that going to be? Eres. But I need the from. You just told me that I got to use the from. Where does it go? In the front. You're like, I know the question. You're making me all confused, Mrs. Henke. I know de donde. But do you see it now? Because we're asking from where. So put the where in front, right? So de donde eres tú? We're going to say where we're from. So let's say it together. Yo. Oh, it's over here. Sorry. Yo am from. This is so easy that you're confused. You're like, why is she making me write this? I have this memorized. Because we break it down in order to understand it in case there are any gaps at this point. So when you want to ask where someone is from, the verb is going to go here, your subject is going to go here. So if I wanted to ask where we are from, my question becomes, ¿de dónde? I'm going to say we. Nosotros. What's my verb? ¿De dónde? Somos nosotros. If I want to know where they are from, I'm going to say de donde something ellos. What's my verb? De donde son ellos. So your verb changes to go with your subject, right? And we answered the same way. Okay, so where are we from, guys? We're going to say we, nosotros. I need a verb. Somos, but we don't want to hop over here to Wichita, right? We're not Wichita. We are from Wichita. Don't forget your day. It all makes sense, doesn't it? No gaps? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways. Love it. Love it. Okay, we'll keep practicing it. Second page. So, do you remember that whenever we had de, we had to be really careful? When de is followed with the article el, the two combine to form what contraction? What was that? Del. De and el become del. Do we need to worry about de with la, las, and los? Nope. We can have those next to each other. We can say de la from the, de las from the, and de los from the. All these are okay. We cannot have de, el. Okay? Those are going to contract and become del. Es la computadora of the conductor. Understood it, right? We have no subject out here. It is the computer. We want to say of the driver. This is masculino. This is going to give us el. But we know we can't put de in front of it. We're going to squish it together and do del conductor, right? Son las maletas. Okay, understood subject out here. We don't have a subject. We have are. What's this? The suitcases. So what is my understood subject out here? What are the suitcases? It are the suitcases? They. This is understood they, right? They are the suitcases. Now we want to say of the boy. You know where we're headed, right? Can't say de and el. What are we going to do? Del. Okay. Keep an eye out for that. Okay, ser is also going to express one more thing. Do you remember? Relationship, right? Okay, so those of you who learned that as relationship, go ahead and put that in there. I teach it as possession. Who owns something? Who possesses it? To whom does it belong? But whenever we do relationship, we got to use a preposition again. Because remember, there is no apostrophe S in Spanish, so I can't say Maria's brother. Maria's hermano. I'm going to have to say the brother of Maria. What preposition are we going to use? De. We will come back to this and finish this section of notes tomorrow. Let's practice what we just have up here, which is pretty easy stuff, right?